The Trackmania summer campaign is finally coming to an end. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing, because after 3 months of intense competition, players have set the best records they can on the 25 official campaign tracks. There have been some pretty insane shortcuts that have been found. There have been world record battles that have come down to the millisecond. I haven't hunted this campaign that much. I started out wanting to do top 100s, but quickly a lot of things happened and I never quite got around to it, so I apologize. But map 1 here, world record by Lima, Hobbit and Corny, and Zonkman Kovac in the top 5. All of them managed to get the sub 19, which was a mark people were looking at quite early on, and you can see the player count on the different maps top left. 800,000 players on this one, so if you have the world record, that is a pretty big achievement. Here they do a shortcut in between the pillar, close to the wall, and also bumping across penalty grass. And then there's been a, conversation about whether or not you should no-slide this ending. Some players prefer it, but it is not used in the fastest run by Lima here, so. Very nice run by Lima in Portugal. And we go to map number 2. And at this point, you should already know that means Lord Quacked here has perfected the world record. This guy's had the world record on the last couple of O2 dirt maps, and he keeps delivering. This record was set like 2 months ago, and no one's managed to beat it. But this guy is, for the time being, the quantum slide master. On dirt now, especially at low speed dirt, the best strategy is just what you're seeing here, quantum sliding all the way. It's maybe a bit hard to see with the name tags, but for a 20-second track, having a 400th gap to second place is massive. You can see that right now he's not sliding, and now he is sliding ever so slightly, but he technically still has full grip. I love explaining this. This is a quantum slide, and he's speed sliding with full grip. It gains everywhere, requires, very fine precision to not lose the grip, because then it's not as fast, and this run is pretty much just perfect. So congrats to Lord Quacked. And what I find really fascinating is that he has now started playing other maps, so we're gonna see him make a return on some of these other ones too. He's not just playing dirt anymore, because guess what? He has the world record on this grass track by 1,000. In like 2013, they added the 1,000th of a second to the timer, and it was very necessary because there were a lot of ties. I've never thought I had to say this, but they might need to add the 10,000th at some point. Lord Quacked versus Calvin. Should be noted, Calvin a keyboard player, by the way, so even on these very microscopic precision tracks, it is possible to be competitive on keyboard. But yeah, here you can see another quantum slide, this time on grass, and very important to get one that sends you far enough to the left. And here he's behind all the way to the last wall. Very hard to tell that he's actually winning that battle. A wheel behind into the last wall, smoother transition, and just pass him as they cross the line. That's crazy. Photo finish there for Quacked. Map 4, Calvin's on top with a 2266. Very satisfying numbers. Lord Quacked in third, Complex here as well. The Piece from Brazil and Zodiac. So these are, the Quantum Slide champions of the campaign. Solely Vagunton there as well. They're doing it here on the plastic. Plastic is the one surface you can't really see your skid marks on, but I can assure you that they are quantum sliding. Speed sliding all the way up. He's behind Complex, but has more speed. And that carries for just long enough to overtake. Low in the wall ride this time. He is not the one that gets sniped on the line. It is Complex. And we go to map 5. Running through these first ones pretty quickly, but there are not that many details to talk about. But here, map 5 had one of the sickest shortcuts in the campaign. I have a pretty good run, and I want to show it to you first to give you a perspective on how absurdly cooked this map has become. I've driven a clean run, and in the ending there's a massive shortcut where you slide into the wall, Uberbug against the plastic, and then fly into the finish. But this run doesn't make top 1,000, bro. People have found an even better setup, and it is, at the time being, I think, very deserved. Amelius, the guy who found the shortcut at first, that has the world record. And I never thought I'd say this, but Goon Juice has also been driving a lot of world records on this map, so he was looking like the candidate to have it on the campaign closest, but right now, Amelius, with 1 day to go, has the best record. About a car length lead into the shortcut, and now they do a different setup. Very early bug slide into the dirt, and just, they get the Uber bug on the first possible tick of hitting the wall. Like, I slammed the wall once, then got it, but they just immediately and then flying underneath the checkpoint arc and straight to the finish. Goon here slams the wall and drives up the road border sort of to get a very direct flight, but Amelius with the start lead is currently in first place. We'll see if that changes on the last day. Map 06, the first tech map in the campaign. Seeing a lot of legends on this map. Patros, Tween, and Bogenshire, very old players. Darkest Sentinel though with the world record 25.96. So precision in the first downhill, and the first drift happens up here. You want to end up quite low, and I really like Tween's line here. But Darkest Sentinel has more speed up the hill. Tween remains ahead, but only until here. And now a wider setup for Sentinel, who had the best ending that I've ever seen on this map. Just so precise. And, you know, with 5 cars, hard to pay attention to the details, so let's watch it in isolation now. Looks like there is still a little bit more to gain, but tech is very hard to know what the best lines are. So he was like half a car length behind here, but then super close here, super close to this corner, and then max speed up the hill while pushing the apex at just the right time. So Sentinel's been in a lot of the top 5s now, and a world record. He's also doing well on points. Here we have Hobbit, 30-11. A big gap, and look at this from 3rd place and downward. It's not often that you see a 10th of a gap when we're talking about thousands on other maps, but this is a very tricky dirt map with some, you know, surfaces like penalty grass and an outside line here that at first in the campaign was not considered faster, but they've now started adding. This outside line you need to get a lot of speed up the hill with. That's the way to make that one faster, and then smooth transitions here. Try to glue your car to the surface, and yeah, 30.11. Hobbit's basically had this record since day 1. Not this exact run, but he got this record on the first day, and basically, to my knowledge, has not lost it, so very impressive stuff from Hobbit. This world record, guys, at the time of recording, was driven 43 minutes ago. And there's another world record that I'll show later that was also driven today. People are hunting, and typically it goes this way. They hunt a lot on the first days, then there's some inactivity, and then there's a streak of world records the very last day of the campaign when people try to snipe it away before the campaign's closed. So Richso here, massive gap with just 1 day to go. This very well might stand. There is a really difficult gear to keep in that downhill. You want to drive the sharpest line possible with 4th gear preserved. Here you can either get 5th gear early or dodge it by being barely underneath the threshold, and then another no slide in the ending, and wow, that is beautiful. It's hard to do with the icy tires. Now map 09, this one had a very unique trick, not a shortcut per se, but a trick that made it a map where new people could get world records. So Dowser Bros and Sokrat both have gotten their first campaign world records on this map. Yeah, I know Dower's put in somewhere between 50 and 100 hours on this map, so heartbreaking for them if they don't end up with the world record, but show the trick. It's right near the ending. The start is all about precision on the wood. Very low here everywhere you can. And then it all hinges on crashing this light to lift a wheel onto the wood, get a very early 5th gear, close to the turns again, and you can see he's pulling more and more ahead here. And then last corner, very precise, small flick on the wood, and 24.618 is the record. Also to give some perspective here on just how much effort a world record like this might require. Sokrat got this 18 days ago, but he also posted a video of his grind, and here you can see a lot of ghosts that are far better than my PB and, you know, likely top 10 runs in the world. This is just the grind that you have to endure if you're going for a world record. You have to endure all these good fails and probably many more just bad fails that are not even remotely world record pace. But yeah, this is the stuff you need for getting a world record in the campaigns now. It is not at all easy. I mentioned Lord Quacked, and it's really cool because when you see a Trackmania player excel in one style, I've seen this enough now to know that if they wanted to, they could apply the same process of learning and get good at another style. And he's getting very, very good at full speed. So Shadowcrancer, one of the world's best full speed players here with the world record, but just 2 hours ago, Lord Quacked with a 2nd place here. So on this map, it's wide open and has long platform sections where you just want to speed slide everywhere you can. Shadowcrancer with seemingly the worst start out of everyone. meaning this could be beatable, but his last speed slide there is a thing of beauty. Gaining so much on the platform. Want to see if he actually lost time or if he had more speed. We see him go through the checkpoint, 482. Compared to the car next to him there, Lord Quacked, I think actually he was just a little bit behind. But then here down the dirt, beautiful, and you can maybe see the overlap in between everything. Just, yeah, that is like machine precision. And then so clean out of the wall on grass. Very tiny steering movements to get to the finish. Let's go on to the first blue track. This one, a lot of surfaces, some awkward drifts. That's why Hobbit at the top of the leaderboard, no surprise. Scrappyals with a good time. And a new player here for me as well. I haven't seen Lulpad1 before, so congrats to them for a great time. This map was a lot of fun in matchmaking, but 31.7 is crazy pace to drive. I struggled quite a while for, I think it was champion medal, and they are half a second faster than that, so just really good speed preservation throughout, trying to dodge a lot of penalty here, speed sliding, and yeah, you know, they make it look easy. There's not much to add, it's just smooth movements all the way through. It's the type of map where you will lose about a second to the world record, and you will not understand how that happened because you feel like you're driving clean. This map, just the same. Like, I've lost a second to the world record with my best run, but it's just because they preserve more speed everywhere. New player here for me as well, Oren and Miguelino. So we're constantly seeing new players get into the top 5s on maps, which is really awesome. And here we are also in the campaign portion where it's a paid map, right? But we still have 200,000 players or so on the leaderboard, which I think is awesome to see. And I hope to see a lot of people enjoy the fall campaign as well. Beautiful speed slides here. Mainly, I think they gain a lot of time in the start and the tunnel against my personal best. Like here, it's very hard to push this section with a lot of speed and go low. In this part, now setting up early with just, you know, they're not even drifting here. They're not slowing down at all. They just jump and angle the car. And with the reactor, that builds speed throughout, so. 32.34, the world record on 12, also likely to stand. But now, guys, map 13. Oh boy. All right, let me remind you, quick refresher here on what the world, not the world record, what the map looks like normal way. The world record does something very different. So here you had a reactor booster and slow grass. Now, actually, there was a part here where I thought you could do a reactor flight again from this hill, but the green fog that you can see here is a reset. So Nadeo really tried here to prevent shortcuts by placing resets so that you can't just fly and get zoops all the time. The player in first here is a player called Sobs. Changed his name a lot, but Sobs is the name we're going with. And Turtled, Crude, Amelius, they've all hit the shortcut. It is a wild ride, so let's get locked in here. It starts out the same way. You have to take checkpoint 1 and 2 as ordinary, but on checkpoint 3 things get crazy because we steer a lot sharper to the left, drive up here so that we can fly. We bounce against the checkpoint and now fly up with a zoop over the reset, over the water, bouncing through, and then having even more speed towards the finish. Just a full-on like rock skipping sequence there, where they beautifully avoid all the reset blocks that the developers placed and ultimately save 2.5 seconds. Just insane stuff, guys. Every time you place a reactor booster, your map becomes a reactor map. And Nadeo keeps placing reactor boosters for us to fly around with. So it's kind of fun though, that they know this is happening by now. Nice to see a campaign where I lost to this player right here. Can't believe that happened, but okay. Let's take a look at the best records by Hobbit, Crude, Complex, Sentinel, and Susui. This is an underwater map, and anytime there's underwater, Susui, one of the best, well, I could say the best underwater player, tends to grind it, but here he has been beaten. And by a lot of the people going for the overall win. You've seen Complex a lot on the top, you've seen Hobbit and Sentinel as big contenders. Hobbit sort of in the middle here, but gets a very good water entry there, so much speed, carrying all the way to the last turn. Brake tap for the speed slide. I haven't actually seen this record until now. Wow. That is neat. That is very neat. Driving at over 400 speed adds a cheeky... Oh, it's not even a brake tap. He just steers sharply enough to make the car go into a slide by itself, so that's even better. So close to the fence, that's not at all easy with hovering on reactors, and it's 100th faster than crude, so another Hobbit record in the books. Now, map 15, where the GOAT himself, Carl Jr., makes a rare appearance. Carl decided to hunt this a lot on stream over the summer. He really wanted to get the 149 here, so he just decided to do it. The thing is with players like Carl, he doesn't play Cup of the Day a lot. He doesn't play a lot of these community competitions like Bonk Cup or weekly shorts or even the campaign records, right? But when he does, he can still win. And here he proves it. And what's so crazy to me about this run is that we're seeing this with the car, right? Carl Jr. plays with the internal camera 3 perspective where you don't even see the car. You just see this, but imagine the car is not there. And he is so precise. Like, his feeling for where the car is on the screen is just insane. And when you start slowing this down, like how close they go to the walls at 400, 500 speed, it is mesmerizing to watch. The control is just out of this world. Small releases to adjust your lines, you get through, setting up wide, release early so that you have a lot of speed through this turn, and it just keeps going. And what I remember about this run is that Carl has a very good ending. It's where he gains a lot towards Complex, so he had a massive lead, then lost a little bit in the middle, and then full sent again, and got the only sub 150 on this map. This is also a very unique track because of the 5-year anniversary of Trackmania. They wanted to build some special maps this campaign, so this one, you might not see anything like it in campaigns coming up, but it was a cool one for a change. But I want to see, you know, in the fall campaign, maybe some more ice and things like that. That's something we lacked this campaign. But we had some unique stuff like this instead. So here, coming up to the finish, willing to risk the last corner after 148 driving, full speed sand, and ooh, you gotta be quite brave there, guys, to not release here at all after this. I mean, if the wheel face plants on the left here, you just lose the entire run. Cool to show Carl Jr.'s skill there. If you ever wonder, yeah, he's still the best, and I think it's gonna take a while before anyone catches up to that level. Map 16, Hobbit. Dirt map, grass map, plastic map equals Hobbit. If he's hunting the campaign. He's been so good in so many campaigns. I think he has won the most overall, and he is on pace right now for counting points to do so again. This is also a map where there isn't really anything that special, and yet my PB is a second behind. But it comes from losing a 10th in one segment, and then, you know, maybe 2/10 in another checkpoint segment, and this kind of stuff adds up. There is some really nice control in the ending here, driving over the penalty grass to skip a little bit. So here you can just drive across while speed sliding. Preserve 4th gear here is massive, and then down the hill, speed slide and jump into the very corner of the finish here. But they still make it look easy. It's like, oh, why don't I just do that and gain a second myself? Yeah, I wish I could, guys. I wish I could. Here, though, 2 seconds. When Shadowcrancer drove this run, I thought no one was going to beat it. But again, I'm impressed by the Lord himself. Mr. Quack managed to beat Shadowcrancer, who, at the time Shadowcrancer drove his run, it was about a 2/10 of a second lead. So it just looked like he had put this map in a different league himself. But now, yeah, with 1 day to go, Lord Quacked in the lead. Snap, no slide into a quantum slide. You want to end up at the very right by the pillar here, because then you can do another no slide there. Another snap here up the hill, sharp so that you can get to the left. Different line from Shadowcrancer, but it catches up to him. A little bit higher here for more speed towards the finish. That is so nice. That is so nice. Yeah, Shadowcrancer cut maybe a little bit too much in these last 2 turns. Getting a little bit more of the road now. You can see the speed difference on the back of the car. He is about 5 speed ahead, and then able to carry that through the turn. Really, really nice stuff there. Pay attention to that name, Lord Quacked. This one, guys, I mean, I think we just look at the top 2. It is so rare that we have an exact tie to the 1000 in the campaign. I can't remember last it happened. After 3 months of hunting, these guys tied to the exact 1000. Smiley Bob got his run 5 days ago, Curiosity 1 day ago. That is why Smiley Bob is ahead. There's no name left for times like that. It's just 5 days apart with the exact same time. Smiley Bob here with a better start, but Curiosity way more speed out of the Wetwood. He specializes in that style. Curiosity plays a lot of Wetwood maps. We've seen him in past Wetwood maps too. Down the hill here, and then you want to go very early right, full low, smoothly exit the grass, and then set up for a tiny drift tap, jump over the sand. Smiley Bob still behind, bit more speed though, full right, and the photo finish. Honestly, looks like Bob was ahead, but here it comes down to Curiosity being more on the right side there. Maybe it looks a bit like the Olympics, was it? Where Noah Lyles somehow has a better time than Thompson, despite clearly looking behind in the photo finish, but I digress. Map 5 here. It's actually unreal how much faster they are here. The author time is a 51. I didn't play this one beyond my author time. And they have a 44. And it looks like it's a shortcut, but no, it is just a freewheeling map where if you're a little bit faster on each checkpoint and having 4th gear at this next checkpoint, carrying a lot of speed, and 5th gear rather up here, you just snowball speed. You just snowball more and more speed with each checkpoint from clean transitions, and they barely hold on to the grip here in the ending. Down the hill, up close, and yeah, 44.26. I remember seeing this record at 44.8 or so at the start and thinking that was insane, but now it's just at a different level. Also, new player here, Dali in the top 5, cool to see. Congratulations. Here on map 20, you can see it here in the start, there were many different paths. The Finnish community did a lot of theory crafting. They came up with a route on the 2nd day. That still remains the fastest route on the map, so that's what we're gonna see. It's a little convoluted, but we go to number 2 here in the start. Also, this player here, Nitupsar, has driven, I think, about 10 road on the map. That's why there's a massive gap. He's just been grinding it and gotten a well-deserved world record. Precision, jump up high onto the platform, and we're so far not really shortcutting anything. We're driving the intended 2nd path in this map. However, all the checkpoints are linked, and this path lets you pick up a lot of the checkpoints except for the last one quickly, but then you can take the last checkpoint of a different path here, bounce over the fence, and get sent low directly to a different finish. And a beautiful shortcut there by Nitsupsar after a really clean run otherwise. Just low direct flight to the finish. We've got 5 maps left, and these 5 maps have also been perfected. 21, the tech map. One of the hardest author times this season. I'm not sure if you guys found 21 or 22 more difficult. Personally, I would say that 22 probably was the more difficult one, but here, the top players did not struggle with beating 101. They were going for sub 1 minute. And it has been done by many now, but Maui with the best time as we're nearing the end. Different lines here at speed tech, so you want these long, smooth turns. And we will see some different lines. This jump here, you want to end up very high, go low, get close to the pillar for the least airtime you can have, and then they actually jump here. I didn't see the point of this until I realized that, like, oh yeah, trying to get no airtime, just spend time braking and setting up for the drift yourself. It's just faster to jump. So a little bit of a novelty there. Urix going so close to the wall on the left, still has the lead into the last couple of turns, but here Maui just full sends, dives down, lower line. You'd think Urix has more speed, but Maui still remains ahead as they cross the line. Urix missing the last drift a little bit. So intense battle on this one, beautiful precision, and you know, tech, when played at the highest level, it's like watching a nice dance. Map 22. The full speed map that has one of the hardest campaign author times. I'm not sure what the final tally is on how many players ended up beating this. I would guess it's somewhere around 3,000-4,000 players out of 48,000. There's been an intense battle here between Josh and Mutta for this record. In the start, early speed set on the booster is important, and Josh already has a big lead with equal speed. That's about, you know, 300-400ths already. And Mutta, slightly different line here, wider onto the grass. earlier speed slide there too, I think. We saw 670 speed from Josh and 668 from Murra into the wall, right? So Josh extending his lead. This booster's a grass booster, so they stop steering for a moment. And then into the corkscrew. Down to the platform, they stop sliding for a bit and then reactivate the slide in the uphill. Murra even doing a double speed slide snap cancel. Josh a bit wide for this wall ride. We'll have to go a lot up. Murra goes more straight through it and thus has more speed towards the finish straight. And look how much that matters. They both do a speed slide wiggle on the booster. And if the finish line was a couple of blocks further away, one would think Murra might catch up. But yeah, really nice runs by both of them. Sub 56 there is completely incredible. Map 23, world record here by Hobbit, driven 2 hours ago. So this is another one of the records that were set today, and has to feel bad for Lima. Lima still has the world record on map 1, but getting sniped on the last day by Hobbit, who I can reveal is already winning this campaign by miles. It's gotta suck, especially when it's not so easy to retake. There's a little trick here, jumping with the hill to skip penalty, but that is not at all the coolest thing on this map. Here they go out to the left, bounce on the plastic, jump through the checkpoint, bounce again, drop down to the plastic, and bug slide landing to skip a turn. Just to give you a perspective on what they skipped there, we can go into the free camera. Basically, you have this long turn here, and instead of driving down the turn, you can just jump right through and bug slide, and it's a little bit faster. I can't remember exactly when. I think it was found after like 2 weeks of the campaign, and Lima has been hunting it ever since. He has a much bigger lead to Hobbit than you would think, but Hobbit here, good uphill, good speed slide on the plastic, good wiggle into the loop to get no airtime, wiggling through, and the finish is just so far away for Lima. Hobbit sliding past and sniping away another world record just for good measure. Now map 24 here, guys, is the only one I ended up hunting. I made a video about this, trying to hunt this map, and I did keep trying to improve my record here. Unfortunately, not enough for world record. I got a 1:00:29. Andy with a 1:00:09, I can tell you, is an incredible time. I was at some point here looking for a sub 1 minute. So that would be at the time gaining 2500s, but it requires a crazy run. Like 0.1 is already very fast, 0.0 is just about perfect. All these ice slides require very specific angles, and then here it's important to land wide, drift close, and not get airtime down the hill, and then you're setting up for the booster. The best strategy is to go really wide, try to get 5th gear as you enter the grass here. So if you enter that booster wide, you get 5th gear now up the hill. That gains the speed until here. Now you have a sharp turn. You can see I'm keeping up decently with Andy, but he must have had a perfect time. Going across the snow here for quicker rotation is faster, and then low to the arch of the checkpoint, close to the wall here, low inside ice slide, get the booster, flick straight, and avoid sliding. That's just, yeah, no mistakes basically. The way you gain those last 900ths for sub 1 minute is a little bit closer to each wall. That's the only thing left. Like you could say you could gain 100th here if you're a little bit closer to the wall. You could say you could gain 100th here. No, that was perfect. Here maybe by being a little bit closer to the wall, but you know what I mean? It's like the slides themselves are perfect. It's just about the spacing to the wall. That's the only gains remaining. And map 25, one of the craziest campaign tracks we have seen. This one had a fierce world record battle between Giuliano, Bren, Alcon, and Granati were hunting it early on. But Giuliano pulled off a sick run here with a lot of shortcuts. And this one, after it was set, I think most people figured it would stand. You have to be quite crazy to hunt for this. You could say maybe Giuliano, or maybe Bren could have beaten Giuliano if he wasn't going for World Tour and these other tournaments. One shortcut here, jumping onto the plastic, saving about 0.2 if you do it perfect. But that is far from the biggest skip in this run. You have a little bit of a chill part here before you get into the very crazy part of the run. Climbing up, getting this checkpoint onto the wall. And now it gets crazy. We go down with a lot of speed, and with this speed it is possible to jump up here, up to the checkpoint, and then immediately drop down and land on this pipe. You have to land on the curved part to stabilize the landing. Giuliano, the only player that does this, and it saves about a second to Bren. And so he has a massive gap right now. Very, very clean. Now you have to not fall off over the moving blocks, still keep good pace. Even after landing that shortcut, if you slow down and hesitate at any point here, you will get caught. So he is just sending it up to the next part. A little bit of a chill moment again before you have to land some very precise jumps. Low there, beautifully using the pressure against the corner of the pipe to not fall off. Here you jump up, take the checkpoint, immediately drop down to the platform you just came from, and then you can quarter pipe jump to the checkpoint, skips another pipe section, and saves a little bit of time. And we can hear some plastic bounces in the distance. The others are getting closer. And Giuliano had a previous record. Oh no, it is actually this one. I was gonna say Giuliano had a previous record with this mistake here, but no, it is here. So I want to give him credit here though, not his own fault. He got a landing bug here. Do you see that? That angle adjustment, which pushed him away. So he didn't really have any better jump angle than this. And somehow he managed to save it. Car going out to the right, almost off the edge, and he bug slides to stabilize. Still ahead. Not really his own fault there, but quick reaction time to keep the run alive. After landing that skip and driving fast otherwise, you don't want to lose the run here. And there's still one massive skip coming up that he has to pull off to land this one on the leaderboard. So that's surely what he's thinking about going into this part. If you go to the open speed part of the map now, you have a huge jump through the ring, reminiscent of platform E, if you remember that map from United. Set up sideways as the reactor expires and bug slide through this entire turn, bug slide down, and then drive through a quick hit of the sign there, but it doesn't slow him down that much. He still has to slow down anyway. He jumps up with the quarter pipe, barely touches the checkpoint here, and then keeps going. That also skips a couple of seconds of driving. And at this point, closing out the run is a bit of a formality, but you do have to watch out on one drop down that you do not throw it away. It is right over here. This drop down is alright. Some wide open turns now. Low speed, not much that can go wrong here. But then you gotta really lock in for the last quarter pipe drop down. Quick jump here, low transition, all nice. This one is the difficult one. In between the trees, make sure you tilt the car correctly so that you don't landing bug there or slow down, and then jump up into the finish. 3:25 is the world record on map 25. Quite fitting. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the summer campaign. Let me quickly catch you up to speed on the final rankings. As of right now, with 1 day left, Hobbit winning the campaign with 348,000 points. Lord Quacked, I told you, watch out for this guy, second place this campaign. Shadowcrancer, Lima, Calvin, Dark Sentinel, Complex, Richo, Peace, and Giuliano in the top 10. And like I said, world records are constantly being improved now. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'll see you all in just 1 day for the new discovery of the fall campaign. Hope to see you guys there. I'll be streaming it. And until then, have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.